in Abu Dhabi. They have downed Bangladesh by 136 runs to go top of their group, whatever little consequence that might have, and storm into the Super Fours, where they stay at Abu Dhabi to face Pakistan in what, less than 16 hours from now. It was all after they won a good toss under the sun. 255 is what they managed, courtesy essentially of a 95-run partnership between Rashid Khan on his birthday and Gulbuddin Naib. Shakib Al Hasan, 10 tidy overs, 4 wickets, and Shakib featuring as top scorer with the bat for Bangladesh, who in the absence of Mushfiqur Rahim and Mustafizur Rahman didn't quite have the same intensity. So Afghanistan win. To look back at that game on ESPN Cricket for Match Day, powered by technology partner Vivo. Ajit Agarkar in studio, Shahryar Nafis will have a few things to say too. As far as advertisements for one-day international cricket go, I'm not sure this one was right up there.
It was terrible actually. I mean, and Bangladesh have got to take the blame. I think Afghanistan, you could see the energy that they had. I mean, they are playing tomorrow as well. So
yes.
Okay, they didn't field under the sun. Yeah, it's poor. I mean, it's, you can lose, you can have a bad day, you can lose a game of cricket. But that was almost felt like Bangladesh just turned up. Okay, they were in the game till those first 40 overs of their bowling. But after that, I mean, even that batting, apart from Shakib and Mahmudullah, Musaddiq towards the end a little bit, who showed some fight, that was a pretty poor effort. I mean, these bowlers are tough. Afghanistan, once they have runs on the board, to score of them is always going to be difficult. But you are the more experienced team. You've got to put up a better show. I think, Bangladesh, if I was a Bangladeshi fan, I'd feel let down today.
I mean, I think it's a larger conversation, Shahryar, because even in the first game, they needed a mind-blowing innings from Mushfiqur Rahim. Otherwise, the rest of the batting, there remain question marks. And in spite of the lack of incentive in this game, you would have hoped at least 2 or 3 guys get a 60, get a 70, feel good about themselves. The batting has been a bit of a disappointment, hasn't it?
It's a disappointing game for Bangladesh. It's hot, it's difficult, but you train all the time to play in these difficult conditions. Afghanistan was the day who turned up really well. They were ready for the match. Where Bangladesh, I think, for first 40 hours of the match was in the match, and after that they were never in the match. Yes, it's disappointing. The batting from Bangladeshi batsmen was not that great. The concern for me of this Bangladeshi batting lineup is, whenever the senior guys are playing, Bangladesh are doing well. Like Tamim, Shakib and Mustafizur, when they are performing, Bangladesh have more chances of winning the matches. I think the other guys who are playing for the national team, they should put their hand up and do the performances. If you look at Bangladesh winning last World Cup for 3, 4, 5 years, it's been Shakib, Tamim, Mushfiq, Mahmudullah or Mashrafi, sometimes Mustafiz. Other than that, we haven't have those performances for the young chaps who are playing for the team. It's difficult, but in international cricket, you cannot win matches with 5 players. All the 11 players to put their hand up to win matches for Bangladesh.
That's actually a very good point. I mean, you want, and sometimes younger players take a little bit more time to sort of start feeling at home, or some people take to international cricket immediately. But you cannot always rely on 1 or 2 guys to bail you out. You need contributions from there. Maybe tells you a little bit about what the bench strength is at this point, and how much, with Tamim and Mushfiqur not being there, suddenly what a dent it puts in their batting. But even their bowling effort, frankly, wasn't great. I mean, it just felt the attitude. Even if we win, we end up in this position, or we don't. It's been decided. Maybe it's actually carried on to the game, which we said at the top that ideally it shouldn't once you take the field. And everyone's maybe, it's somewhere at the back of your mind it stayed, and the approach seemed that way.
All right. Well, if you still look at the relative experience that the less experienced players have, you've had Liton Das played 13 ODIs, Musaddiq's played 22. These are numbers where you start now wondering whether these guys are in it for the long run or not. Bangladesh have their own ambitions for the World Cup, but let's just pull the plug here, because this was a game of little incentive. We may see a very different Bangladesh in a few hours against India. Let's just have a word on Afghanistan though, who have the comfort of staying in Abu Dhabi. I don't know if that's a big thing now. And if I was Pakistan right now, I'd be a little wary of just the amount of boxes they've ticked through the course of these 2 games.
Yeah, I think if I was Pakistan, I'd be hoping that he wins the toss and bats first, because anything that Afghanistan get to defend, with their kind of bowling attack, it could always be very tricky. Pakistan, I don't know what their situation is with Shadab as well, if he's going to be fit. That could be a big blow to them. They'll have to play well. I think you've got to admire what Afghanistan keeps doing. Till that partnership, it felt like it could be a score that could be gettable, but they've still won by 136 runs. That's a huge margin. Even if that partnership helped them get to 250, that's a massive margin they've won by.
I mean, they seem to be the kind of team, in spite of being reasonably young or inexperienced at the highest level, Shahryar, that they never let their standards drop, whether there's more on the line or less on the line. You saw it in the fielding, run-outs, catches, all of it. Something about Afghanistan that no matter which team you support or follow, you can't help but be impressed.
I think, Afghanistan has been really professional in their performance. When they were batting, they assessed the condition really well. They made their partnership. They didn't go hard, and they were waiting, and then they ended up building a good score. And when they were bowling, they were like professional. They put the ball in the right areas. Their fielding was brilliant. Their line and length, everything was very much professional. Afghanistan, yes, they have just got the test status, and they want to prove that they belong to this standard. And the team they have got. They are backing their strength, and they're building and planning according to their strength. And this is the main reason of success, I think, for Afghanistan. And they will do good as long as they're keeping their heads down and they're sticking to their plan.
Okay, we have to move our attention now to the Super Fours. This strangely scheduled Asia Cup means Bangladesh have just a little more than a night's sleep and a night's rest to get ready, make the trip from Abu Dhabi to Dubai and take on India, who sit pretty after a thumping win against Pakistan in the group stage. This is the one that matters. A win here would certainly help both teams on course to the final. So let's look ahead to that one. One enforced change we know India will have to make is who plays in place of Hardik Pandya. If you were the captain, who would you go for?
Yeah, I mean, India relies so much on their top two, really. I mean, Virat's not there, Virat Kohli. So, top two, okay, Raidu and Dinesh. Raidu's particularly got runs in both the games. Dinesh Karthik's got nice little 30s. So, there is a bit of form there, but would India be brave enough to go with 6 batsmen? Deepak Chahar's been added to the squad. I mean, people say he bats, but I think he's more a lower order player or a 8-9 number where he can tonk a few. But I think you need 3 seamers, with the rules that are, or unless you have Rashid Khans or Mujibs, you need 3 seamers, because 5 fielders in the ring. India already have 2 wrist spinners and Kedar Jadhav. Ideally, in my opinion, they would play a 3rd seamer. Now, who they go for, whether they go for a left armer in Khalil or Deepak Chahar or the Sid call, it's one of those things. Whether they're comfortable with just to go in with 6 batsmen, that's another thing. Hopefully they're top to fire, then they don't have to worry. But I would pick a seamer. Now it again depends on who they feel comfortable with.
Could the difference, almost splitting the difference, me Jadeja? Because you need a little
unsure
about your batting.
Then you're basically playing with 4 spinners. Yeah. On that particular day it might not work. And Kedar Jadhav, okay, he's doing a job at the moment. Whether you can rely on him every day to get 10 overs in, I'm not quite sure. Ravindra Jadeja lost his place in the team because he couldn't make an impact in one-day cricket with his bowling. So he's got them. He's come back as a replacement where you play him straight away. I don't think the conditions have spun so much that you need 4 spinners. You might need a 3rd seamer. It's just who they go for.
Okay, now Bangladesh have a few selection calls to make of their own, Shahryar. Now, it's a no-brainer that both Mushfiqur Rahim and Mustafizur Rahman will come in. But between Nazmul Hussain Shant, who had a bit of a disappointing debut, and the return of Mominul Haq, they'll have to pick one player. Who would you pick?
So to me, I will always pick Mominul because of the experience and because of the exposure he has got in the test level. But I think at this moment, Bangladesh team management will go for Shanto because he is a genuine opening bat. Mushfiq comes in the spot of Mominul, and definitely Mustafiz is coming in. Now, whom you are going to drop, that's a big question, because Rubel has been a consistent performer for Bangladesh for the last few years. He was there. Abu Hadarani, as a debutant, he had a decent game. So this is the decision I think you have to make. Other than the Mushfiq comes in, that's an obvious choice. Mustafiz comes in, but bowling department, going to drop that supporting problem.
Well, there could be some argument of 8 overs for 67 for a 35-year-old Masrafi Mortaza 2 days back to back. Surely not. But it's a call that they'll have to take. And it is going to be a test for Masrafi to play 2 games in a row in this heat.
Yeah, I mean, he's not expended too much energy tonight. So
Yes.
hopefully he's kept it in reserve for tomorrow. No, look, you need your captain. I think he's been leading them well. So, that sort of... I don't think that's the way they... And not just captain, but experience. I think you need experience in big games.
Okay, well, will it be Afghanistan's experience in this tournament at Abu Dhabi, where Pakistan will have to, of course, make the trip to see them? That will make the difference. That's the simultaneous Super 4 game on Friday. And, of course, Pakistan, after that bitter defeat against India, albeit in a game that had little consequence in the context of the tournament. But which is the team that has more boxes ticked in the short span that this Asia Cup group stage has given us? Can we say Afghanistan have been more impressive than Pakistan going into this game?
I think Afghanistan's bowling has been. I think
Yes.
they've managed to sort of get themselves out of positions of trouble when they were batting and get to a score which then their bowling can defend. I'm not quite sure if they're at 150 for 7 or 140 for 6 against Pakistan. They could get to 250. That's the challenge. If they do get to that, I think Afghanistan will definitely trouble Pakistan. I'm not sure Pakistan will easily get 250 against Afghanistan.
Yeah. Could this again go down, Shahryar, to what could be an important toss for Afghanistan? Bat first, put some kind of 200 or 220 type of score, and then put Pakistan under pressure. Is that essentially their formula to win?
I think it worked. It worked. At this moment, their strategy is to go there, have a bat, and try to manage score something around 220, 230, and defend it because they have got a very good bowling setup and the fielding has been really good. But if you look at the recent history of Afghanistan in the last 2 years, the matches they have struggled against good, hard seam bowl, fast bowling. And in this tournament, I think Pakistan's fast bowling is in an average the fastest. So in that situation, Pakistan has that advantage against Afghanistan. I think Afghanistan's bowling spin attack is definitely good, but Pakistan is going to handle the spin bowling because Pakistan has always been good against spin bowling. So Pakistan has that advantage of having a good bowling attack, good fast bowling attack, and batting wise, yes, as Ajit said, if Afghanistan was 150 or 160 for 7, I think they will not be able to hit that 250 mark against Pakistan.
Very well. It'll be Friday. That'll tell us everything. Many thanks to Shahryar Nafees. Many thanks to Ajit Agarkar. Get your thoughts, gentlemen, as this tournament enters its business end. It's a wonderful doubleheader of Super 4 action in this weirdly scheduled Asia Cup on Friday. Download the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app.